Hi, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Shantana Graham from Shantana's Graham Coaching. And today I want to discuss with you deal breakers and red flags every single mom should look out for when dating. It is the duty of every single mother to prioritize your children's well-being and safety. Here are some common red flags and deal breakers for single mothers. So the first deal breaker for single mothers should be boundaries. It doesn't matter how small the boundaries are, once you put them in place, ensure that he follows it. And by no means should he ever question boundaries you put in place or feel the need to override those boundaries. Whenever those boundaries lines are crossed, you should take immediate action on that. That is not something you should let slide, because the mere fact that he feels the need not to respect your boundaries, then that's already a red flag. Any man that is interested in you and interested in being a part of your children's life will respect your boundaries that you put in place and will adhere to it. Trust your instinct, ladies. Be assertive and put your boundaries in place and ensure they are never crossed. Another red flag that you should look out for when dating is lack of interest in your child. Now, any potential man will always include your child and children in any activities. And I'm not saying that every date your child should be there, but any man that has a genuine interest in your child would want to get to know your child on a deeper level. Even if he's not the biological parent, it is essential that he shows some form of interest in your child. That is non-negotiable. So for example, if he's constantly inviting you out on dates, late nights, not having the care or never questioning who sees after your child, or do you have a babysitter? If those questions does not arrive at any time, then you will know that that's a red flag. He's just not genuinely interested in you, because he should know that you are a single mother. And if you are out late nights, then who looks after your child? You get what I'm saying? Another example is if he's constantly inviting you out and he never includes your child, he's just, for whatever reason, behaving like your child is non-existent. Who would want a relationship with a guy who doesn't include my child in activities? And again, I'm not saying that every single time you guys go out, the child must be included. But at some point, if you are interested in knowing me, being in a relationship with me, I have children, that should be a no-brainer. You include the kids in activities. It is essential for him to want to get to know your child. It is important that he wants to build a relationship with your child. He wants to interact with your child, regardless if he's not the biological father. Many women, many single mothers, they doubt themselves. They doubt, well, if he's not the biological father, then you shouldn't put that much interest. You are wrong. He should, because at the end of the day, he's putting so much interest in you, so much effort in wanting to date you, so much effort into being a part of your life. Then it's a deal breaker if he doesn't show that much interest in your child. It is very important that he does these things. If your potential partner has substance abuse issues, that's already a red flag and a deal breaker. If he's a drunkard, if he's a crack addict, that's not a potential partner. I'm so sorry. Because have you ever been around somebody who's drunk? Have you ever been to the bar and seen somebody inebriated all the time? I am a restaurant manager and I have seen it. It is really bad Why would I want to have somebody like that around my child? I cannot see myself being involved with somebody who has a drinking problem. I work in that environment and I don't even want to deal with you 5 minutes, far less having you as a partner, far less having that personality around my child. I don't want it. You shouldn't want it either. You should not put your children in that position. Being a drunkard comes with anger issues, physical abuse, verbal abuse. They don't know, half the time they don't know themselves. After time they will do things that they don't remember, and it's just a whole chaos. Please, if you're seeking a potential partner, somebody who is involved in substance abuse, you should not get involved. I'm sorry. Do not get involved. And if you have standards such as you don't want to bring someone that's a smoker or someone that's smokes marijuana, that's something completely different. I do believe that single mothers, female, can find potential partners in smokers. But if you have a standard in which you can smoke, but just not around my child, then that should be fine. And that's also a part of boundaries. So if you set that boundary in place and say, hey, I don't mind dating somebody that's smoking, but please do not do that around my child, put those boundaries in place. Have him know that from day one. That is non-negotiable and it's not up for debate. And then that should be fine. Another red flag is history of violence. If your potential partner has a history of being abusive to women in the past, or having anger issues, or being in locked up, I do believe that's something you should not get involved with as a single mother. Especially the part where he's been abusive to other women, his past partners, he has been abusive to them. That is someone you definitely want to stay clear of, and you should take that seriously. I know a lot of women, they take that very lightly, thinking that they're different and they can stand up for themselves. It's not the standing up for yourself part that is bad. That's a good thing that you can stand up for yourself. But when you implement violence into your home, it affects your children. So regardless of you dating someone who is been abusive to other women in the past, and you bring that into your home, that causes a lot of conflict, a lot of arguments, you always being on the fence, and that is very disturbing for your kids or children, and you should not want to be involved in anything like that. So even though he might be charming, he might seem to have his act together, he is stable. Once a person shows any signs of violence, or you've known the person to be violent, don't get yourself involved in that. You don't want all that chaos around you or your child. So let's say you decided on dating someone that has a criminal record in the past, and you say to yourself, well, people change and you want to give people chances. The thing is about giving people chances, you have a child, you have children, and they should come first at all times. Would you ever want to risk bringing someone into your life, into your children's life, that has past record of being violent or being involved in criminal activity? Would you want to even think of it? No, you should not. You should never for a second think to yourself, okay, I'm going to give this person a chance. Granted that people do change, but the mere fact that I have kids and I want my kids to grow up differently and I don't want to subject them to violence, then that is enough reason for me not to date somebody that has a criminal record or have been violent in the past. I do not want that for myself, and I hope you don't want it for yourself, and I also hope you don't want it for your kids. Never ever subject your kids to violence for the sake of romance or for the sake of having a relationship. Don't do it. It's not worth it. I always want my kids to grow up in a healthy environment. So anything that will create chaos for myself and my kids, I will not subject myself to that. So having a potential partner who has a criminal record or in the past have abused women, I'm sorry, that's a deal breaker for me right there. And it should be for you too. Lack of respect. This is a very important one for me, you guys. You never raise your voice at me. You never shout at me. You respect my time. You respect my kids. You respect the conversation you have with me. The list goes on. But respect should be the number one thing that you should look for when deciding to date as a single mother or any woman in general. All these lists that I've given you is essential for dating. Whether you're a single mom, you're female, it goes for every woman. So once someone shows you a sign that they don't respect you, and it could go as small as the way you speak to me. You speak to me in an aggressive tone, name calling, the biggest one of them all. You never name call me. The moment someone name calls you, that's already a red flag, and that is not a potential partner. I believe in this day and age, people should know how to manage their emotions. You shouldn't be going out there throwing tantrum like a 2-year-old. That's what 2-year-olds do. So if I'm going to decide on dating someone, you have to be emotionally stable. Why is your emotion all over the place? You cannot communicate properly. You're going to want to start name calling. You don't respect me as a person. You don't respect my space. You definitely don't respect my time. We have a date and you decided you want to cancel last minute. You want to go out on a date. You're supposed to meet at this location for 8 and then you show up an hour later. That is already signs that this person has no respect for you. And these are some things that people overlook. Women in general, they overlook. They overlook respect. And like I said before, respect goes in many different forms. The smallest things. Please, ladies, please, single mothers, look out for these things and do not take them lightly. When you have kids and you decided on dating, it's not just about you. The things you do, the choices you make in men is not about you. It's about your kids. Do this person aligns with my morals, my standards I set for my kids? Does everything fits? If it doesn't fit, it is okay to let go. It is okay to say, this is not what I want for myself. This is not what I want for my kids. I deserve better. My kids deserve better. And that's it. You don't have to explain why you do the things you do when it comes to men. Why you are so picky. When you have kids, you have to be picky. There's so many pedophiles out there, men who deliberately enter a relationship to beat on your kid just because they don't have a male figure in their life. No, you have some very cruel people out there, cruel men out there. Very cruel, very heartless, very wicked. The world right now is full of wicked and cruel people. When it comes to your kids, you have to protect them at all costs. If it means that you have to go through your entire life being single to protect your child, that's what you should do. That's what you should aim at, or until they're adults. But not until you're responsible for kids or children and you decide on dating. You should be picky. You don't just invite anybody into your life just for the sake of having a romance, just to say, okay, I have a boyfriend, I have a spouse, I have a significant other. These people, they like to prey on single mothers. And that is all I have for you today. I just shared to you common red flags and deal breakers for single mothers when deciding on dating. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope you learn something from it. You can take away something from it and implement it in your lives. Until next time, my lovely single mothers. Bye.